Oh yeah. Oh god, I cannot tell you how long I've been waiting to get one of these things in the office. I've heard the Chord Hugo 2 a bunch of times, but I've never actually got to hang out with one for more than a couple hours at a time. And so actually getting to spend time with it over the past couple of weeks, yeah, I love this thing. I'm gonna tell you why. DACs, DACs, digital to analog converters, are boring. They just are. Think about it. We're talking about the act of converting digital ones and zeros into an electrical signal that you can actually hear. That is dull as ditch water. Super essential, but dull as ditch water. We all take it for granted because our phones do that for us. There's a DAC in my rubbish little 1+2 here. So we don't really think about it, even though it's a super essential part of the audio signal chain. One of the biggest challenges that I face as the editor of the master switch is trying to convince people that no, you don't just need headphones and an amp and a player, you actually need a very decent DAC to go with it. And in terms of decent DACs, from my personal perspective, the Hugo 2 is the best out there. If I'm being completely objective, the benchmark DAC3 HGC is kind of the best sounding DAC out there, but it's also one of the most boring in the sense that it's super technical, really complex, is happier in a studio environment than in a home one. And if you want something that actually redefines what it means to be a DAC, then you need the Hugo 2. The reason being, and I'm going to show you now, I hope I'll show you in a cutaway as well, but hopefully you catch it here, is, come on, power up, the pretty lights. I mean, how cool is this? You have everything here is controlled by these buttons and that just kind of cycle around through various colors. The volume control, for God's sake, actually indicates what the volume is by cycling through different colors. You have a color spectrum for your volume meter. That is insane. That is extremely, extremely cool. And just in terms of pure looks, it comes in this kind of machined metal box that just looks fantastic and has all sorts of weird and wonderful bits. It's like an alien spaceship crashed into a 30s Art Deco exhibition, and this is what is spat out. It looks like one of the MacGuffins in a sci-fi series. It's like the thing that the evil alien race is trying to get to destroy the galaxy. How can you hate something like that? I think the Chord Hugo 2, in a world not just with DACs, but where so many other pieces of audio equipment are just cosmically dull, to have something like this, which bucks the trend and looks completely different, is just an absolute joy. Your friends will want to know what this is. Everybody will want to know what this is. And with good reason. It's fantastic. But none of that would matter if it didn't actually perform. And oh my goodness, does it perform. It does a superlative job of converting audio really, really well, really clean, zero artifacts, absolutely beautiful detail. I thought it functioned better as a DAC than a headphone amp. It works perfectly well as a headphone amp, but I thought it really shone when you paired it with a decent amp as well. As a DAC, it is virtually flawless. Part of the reason for that is the filters. A lot of filters on DACs make very, very little difference. It's very tough to tell if there's actually anything audible going on there. I'm thinking of models from the likes of i5 that had these but didn't really do much with them. This, total difference. First of all, you've got a crossfeed filter which mixes the audio in your different left and right channels in your headphones, which actually works really, really well. And you've got a filter that rolls off certain parts of the frequency spectrum, and as you cycle through it, as you switch these buttons going from green to yellow to red to white, you can actually hear an audible difference. It's very easy to actually find a combination that you like. And I've read some reviews that say, the color schemes to indicate what filter you have and what input you have aren't very clear. And I looked at this and went, I don't understand this. It's really not that difficult. It's because like when you're cycling through the filters, off is white and max filter is red. So it goes white, green, orange, red. This really isn't that difficult to work out. I mean, for God's sake, if you select Bluetooth on this thing, then the input button turns blue. Seriously, guys, it's not that difficult. Also, by the way, yes, Bluetooth DAC. Entirely aptX Bluetooth capable. Isn't that just refreshing? Forget this whole big desktop clunky DAC that you'd have to move. This you can take with you. It's a little bit heavy. You're not going to slip this into a pocket or something. But if you just want to sit on the couch somewhere and just listen to really kick-ass audio through your headphones, yeah, full-on Bluetooth. Oh, and let's see what we got here. We have coax, we have analog out, we have both 6.3 and 3.5 millimeter headphone jacks. We have an optical connection, for God's sake. I mean, there's just so much to love here. I cannot describe just how kick-ass this DAC is. It's so cool. It does have a couple of downsides though. I wouldn't be lying if I said this was absolutely perfect. For one thing, the buttons on the front. They work perfectly fine, but they feel a little bit loose in their sockets. You can actually almost roll them around with your finger, and it just feels, I don't know, a touch cheap. It looks fantastic, and things like the volume roller scroll color wheel thing work really well, but the buttons on the front I just thought could have been seated a bit better. The other thing is the price. The price I have for this is just under $2,700 US. That's a lot. That's a lot for a DAC. Now, don't get me wrong. You get a phenomenal amount for your money. I mean, God, this is a super powerful, super well-equipped Bluetooth DAC that looks and feels great. I mean, it's worth the money. But it does mean that unless you're super serious about your headphone audio, it's probably going to be a little bit too expensive for you. Now, Chord kind of know this. They've got a bunch of different models that are slightly cheaper. I'm thinking of the Mojo, which kind of has the same design aesthetic and is only about $500 US. You could totally go for that and get some of the same tech if you don't need like the advanced filters or anything like that. But honestly, if you have the money, just do yourself a favor. Buy the Hugo 2. It's as close to essential as a high-end piece of audio gear gets. It will objectively make your headphone listening better, and you won't be able to look at it without a massive smile on your face. The Chord Hugo 2, one of my favorite pieces of equipment of all time. You can hear me gush in much more detail about it in the link in the description below. As always, please do not forget to subscribe to this channel. I'm Rob, this is the Master Switch, and there was one other thing. Oh, how we make money. I want to very quickly tell you about this. We are an Amazon affiliate. Every single bit of content on YouTube and every single bit of content on themasterswitch.com is entirely free for you to use. The way that you can support us is by clicking through to Amazon from our site and buying something. Even if it's not the thing you click through to, even if it's like a postage stamp or something, we still get a tiny referral fee when that happens, and that helps keep us afloat. We really do appreciate your support. So make sure you click through with the link in the description below to buy the Chord Hugo 2 off Amazon if you are so inclined. I would like to be able to pay rent this month, so thanks very much for that. And yeah, as I said, link description below. I'm Rob, Chord Hugo 2. Don't forget to subscribe. Goodbye.